right, Gator. So they had this question during the morning show. Jim Costa found that the buy-in price for Game 7 tonight for the Florida Panthers was $2,500. You get a pair for $5,000.
Wow.
So I'm going to assume, it's probably a pretty safe assumption, that that's for the worst seats available, if that's just the get-in-the-building price.
Wow.
So, I mean, we're assuming these aren't great seats, and we're probably assuming that they cost a couple $100. You know, a ticket, $250, $300 a ticket, whatever it is, Game 7. And the question is, would you sell for $5,000 a pair of tickets for Game 7? Or would you go? Gator, do you envision yourself selling or going?
Well, this would be one, if I had the tickets.
Yep.
I would probably sell.
You'd probably sell?
Well, I mean, it's hard to think of it. 'Cause as a Red Wing fan, if this were the Red Wing situation,
yep,
I've seen them win a Stanley Cup live and in person. The experience I had, it can't get better than it. I was in the locker room after they won. You know, as a reporter and all that, and I had beer and coney dogs with Ken Cal at 2 a.m. in the bowels of the Joe. Nothing is going to top my experience.
All right.
So, and having gone through it in 2009 when they lost the Stanley Cup, and how brutal that was to see them lose on home ice, I can weigh that into it as well. For me, I would trade it because I've already experienced the best I can experience. But if I try to put myself into a Florida fan's shoes, it's a lot tougher because, you know, if you haven't seen them win, you want to see them win. I'm looking on StubHub, and yeah, they're tough to find. I mean, they're really bad seats. The cheapest seat you can find, they're $915 each. But when fees are all factored in, you're talking about $1,000 each. That's tough for the best seat in the house, or for the worst seat in the house.
Yeah.
So if you had decent seats, I mean, imagine how crazy that's going to be. So it's hard to turn down $5,000 if that's what I'm being offered for my pair of tickets. I'd probably
sell
them.
So I wouldn't, and $5,000 would be incredibly helpful. Okay, I think it would go a long way. We've got a tuition bill coming up. We are going to have, for a stretch of 2 years, we're going to be paying for 2 kids' college at the same time, which is going to be awfully difficult. But we'll find a way. $5,000 would help. But I don't think of it as life-changing money. Useful money for sure. Life-changing money, well, probably not. So I think seeing a Game 7, I wouldn't call it a life-changing experience, but I would call it an experience you will remember for a lifetime. And I've always said to my kids when we're doing stuff, today's a day you're going to remember the rest of your life. And you should be excited about that. Like, that's a cool thing. You don't wake up every day. And as much as I've enjoyed the show today and all that, there's a really good chance that I'm going to forget about June 24th of 2024. Unless something extraordinary happens the rest of the way, today probably won't be a day I remember the rest of my life. If I am a holder of a ticket to Game 7, it's absolutely, June 24th, 2024 is absolutely a day I'm going to remember the rest of my life. Whether I'm a Panther fan or an Edmonton fan, if I have a ticket to that game, so unless it's life-changing money, I'll take the experience that I'll remember for the rest of my life over that. So what's life-changing money? You'd have to start to approach 6 figures. Nobody's giving me $90,000 for a ticket. So I don't know that there's a realistic price that I would sell the ticket for.
Yeah, I'm looking on StubHub right now, and I think that the best price, or the highest price I've seen is $5,000 a ticket.
Okay.
So I mean that's the highest price that I've seen.
Yeah.
Oh, $7,400 a ticket. Jeez. Still want to pay? Well, you've already got the ticket. You didn't pay $7,400 for it. You bought the ticket for the face value because you're a season ticket holder or whatever, or you won a lottery, whatever the case is. So you probably, you paid hundreds of dollars for that ticket, for sure. So you wouldn't give it up for $5,000, huh?
Yeah, so we actually have a Florida Panther fan working on the show today. Kang is out, Paul is in. And first of all, how you feeling? When we described our feelings earlier, Paul, about how a Florida fan feels and how an Edmonton fan feels, did we describe how you feel?
Connor McDavid stole my soul in Game 5. I watched Game 6 almost like a zombie. Like, I was just like watching it. I didn't really have much emotion. But I am a nervous wreck right now thinking about tonight. I just want it to be over, and I hope they win.
How's your stool at this point? Is it loose? Quite loose? You okay?
It's been okay so far.
Okay. Right. It might change later on.
If you were a holder of tickets to tonight's game, assuming you spent a couple $100 on, would you sell for $5,000?
No, I want to be there in person to either experience the joy or to have Connor McDavid ruin my life.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, we'll mark you down. Ruin your life. But that's what it feels like when the stakes are like this.
Well, it's going to be tough, man, because like Fuller had an interview with a guy that was on the Red Wings. He's 100 years old. It happened 82 years ago. Like, no one even alive can even console me or talk to me about this.
When somebody tried to come back from 3-0, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, when the Maple Leafs beat the Wings, they were down 3-0. They came back and won the Cup. That was 82 years ago.
Wow. All right, so what's your gut telling you about tonight?
Can't even put it into words. It's like, you don't feel strong to quite strong about this one.
No. It's the thing. We've been one win away, Gator, for like a week, and it hasn't happened.
This is true. Where are you going to watch the game?
In my apartment by myself. I can't be around people for this.
I understand. I totally understand that.
Well, I'm not rooting for your team. Sorry, but I don't think you're offended. But I hope you find solace.
I'd be rooting for McDavid if they weren't playing the Panthers. I really like McDavid.
Okay.
I think there's some anti-Canadian sentiment out there, and I don't feel that way at all. I mean, I think people think it's funny that a team from Canada hasn't won the Cup in so long, but I don't get a whole lot of pleasure out of that.
I do think it's funny they haven't won the Cup in 31 years, but I respect the heck out of Connor McDavid. He's a great player. If they were playing literally any other team, I'd be okay with him winning it. But unfortunately, he's playing the Panthers, and I don't want to see him win.
Well, we'll get to your feedback and phone calls. Would you sell the ticket for $5,000? 248-539-9797. Think of it as a Red Wing Game 7. Would you sell that ticket for $5,000?